I got started at IMS here as an instructor a couple years back after I'd heard a couple of people I worked with were also instructors here. And after being in the industry of radio and sports phone and TV and play-by-play for as long as I have been, I figured that it would be a good thing to come on out. I had some free time, come on out and help out some of the people that want to be the next people involved in these kind of things, next people that hit the radio airwaves and also do play-by-play. So I thought it was a great idea and a great place to do it at. When I'm here, it's great because there's always somebody that has either heard me, has wanted to meet me, and once they meet me, I explain to them, okay, it wasn't that big a deal. But if I'm always here if you need help with developing what you're passionate about. And that's what most people come here for. They have a passion. They want to do something. They want to do radio play-by-play. They want to do sports talk. They want to do updates, whatever it may be. I love being here and helping them become better at what they're trying to work at. And it's great because the one thing about the students is they're really good at listening to criticisms. Once you get into the business, it's difficult because people all think that, okay, I've made it. But here at the school, everybody wants to get better. And that's one of the better things, and one of the things I really enjoy about it is they'll come and they'll say, how can I make this better? And I always tell them I'm gonna be super critical of everything I tell them because that's the only way they're gonna get better. And it's great because every student I've talked to enjoys that because they all want to get better. And that's one of the things I love about it. My name is Fred Hubner. I work at ESPN 1000 as a host and sports anchor. I am an instructor here at the Lombard campus of the Illinois Media School, and I am IMS.
Welcome to I Want Football 365, covering pro football around the world. I'm Michael Heim, and with me as always, Mark Kanicki. How you doing today, Mark?
Real good, King. I'm so excited. It's our 10th episode, and we have a great lineup for everyone tonight as we have Chicago Bears alumni Marcus Robinson, and we have Dominique Collins from the Chicago Bliss. So I can't get any better. Plus, we have plenty of football to talk about, as always, from all around the world.
Yeah, NFL is starting after next week. We're halfway through the CFL season, and the Arena Bowl is half in the AFL.
And what an exciting game that was. I had an opportunity to watch it from start to finish, and I can't wait to give you all the highlights and updates from that.
Yeah, I know you're dying to talk to Marcus Robinson.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, you know, he was one of my favorite Bears as I've been growing up over the years. I had an opportunity to watch him, and he's one of those players that after he left the Bears, I continued to be a fan. So even though he went and played for the Ravens and then the rivalry Minnesota Vikings, I still watched from afar and cheered him on.
See, it was nice when he left the Bears to go to the Ravens for that 1 year. Then he came back into the division.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be the MO for a lot of players in our division. We'll leave for a year, come back, and then we're going to burn the old team that didn't keep us around. So
that's why the Packers got Devon House back, so they couldn't do that, go on the Bears.
Well, it happens.
Well, it's like you said, we got a big show coming up. We're going to take a quick break here at I Want Football 365. We'll be back with some more football.
Well, I got started at IMS because I really had nothing going on for me. I didn't have a job. I wasn't in school, and I was just getting out of my other school. I knew I wanted to go into broadcasting, but I didn't want to spend too much time in college. I'd already spent about 4 years, and I was like, I really don't have that much time to just play around anymore. So I really wanted to get into the business, and I had a friend, and he went to the school, graduated, and I saw he was already in the business, and everything was happening so quickly. And I went to him, I was like, hey, how did you get started? And he said, at the time, Illinois Center for Broadcasting. And I was like, all right. So I looked into it, went on a tour, and it changed my life. It really did. From the start, literally the first step I took into the place, you felt the energy in there, and so many positive vibes coming from everywhere, and that's just the first time you step into it. And then you get started into it, and you're learning from industry professionals, you're learning from some of the best to ever do it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here in front of people that I grew up watching, and just going through that process, man, that whole year was the time of my life. I was super duper busy, but it was so much fun. Got an internship right away, was actually in a real radio station, and I saw my dreams coming true right before my eyes. And what's awesome is that I love the school so much, I couldn't leave. Graduated, and I'm still there now. I'm working with The Edge, theedgeonair.com at the Lombard campus. I am the assistant program assistant there, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun watching these new students come in, watching the students learn, and then they're looking up to me because I'm here working at a real radio station, knowing what goes into a radio show, and their eyes and their passion, it reminds me a lot of when I was at the school and the passion that I had, and they're working hard every single day, and it just drives me, and I love seeing that, and I love giving back. And if I'm just able to be that person for them to go to just for advice or whatever they need, I'd love to be that person, and it's an absolute honor that I'm able to hold that position for them to give them somebody to go to. I am George Norwood. I am the promotions assistant for 103.9 The Fox. I am the overnight host for Star 105.5, and I am also the assistant program director for theedgeonair.com at the Lombard campus, and I am IMS.
How did I hear about IMS? Well, it was about 16 years ago, and I was doing college radio just for fun. Had no purpose whatsoever until a buddy of mine, Dave Durov, who signed up for classes that same time I was there, told me about IMS, and I signed up. And before you know it, I was going to school, learning about radio, learning about TV, and I realized, hey, I can actually do this for a living. So 9 months later, I graduated. What do I think about my time at IMS? It was a lot of fun. I mean, there was learning involved, but it was good learning. I didn't feel like I was going to school. I felt like I was having a good time. The classmates were great. We had a good time in group projects. We had a great time doing our solo projects. So I felt like it was very important for me to get that before I did radio professionally. How would I describe students at IMS? Dedicated. Dedicated students for sure. IMS knows how to put the right kind of pressure on students to get things done, and I feel that the students there, knowing that if they want a career, they got to work hard. They got to do what you got to do what you got to do. And IMS really nails it that way. They do a good job of enforcing that and making sure it's also fun while you're doing it. Hi, my name is Edgar Ibarra. I'm the program director for Nash FM 104.9 and Nash FM 99.5 in Northeast Wisconsin. I'm a graduate of the IMS Lombard campus, and I am IMS.
Welcome back to Iowa Football 365, covering pro football around the world. And with us, as you see, is our special guest, Marcus Robinson. Marcus, thank you very much for coming in on our exquisite show. Really appreciate you coming out.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank Mike for having me on, dude.
Hey, absolutely. It was a pleasure. You know, it's our 10th episode, and wouldn't want to do it any other way.
There you go.
We got the Chicago Bears alumni, Chicago Bliss alumni. We couldn't ask for a better show.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do it the right way. So we've got a lot of questions for you, man. I'm excited to have you on board here, and I would like to talk a little bit about where you're at right now with Big Time Sports, and talk to us a little bit about that and your facility over at Life Zone 360 in West Dundee.
Yeah, well, I started this company, Big Time Sports, about 7 years ago. I started when I was training a little kid, and I was just doing it for fun at that time. And I saw the kids change. I saw things happen to him. He got better, and I was like, you know what, I can do this. And so somebody told me, I had two or three other kids I started training as well, and they kind of grew from that. But Big Time Sports, basically, I train young adults, old adults. I train young kids up to 8, 9 years old, depends on what they're taking in as far as athleticism. So I train them in all different sports. I'm over at 999 West Main Street in West Dundee. So it's
It's
fun.
a beautiful facility.
It is. It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing kids change. I enjoy helping adults lose weight or gain muscle. So it's pretty fun.
Absolutely, and we had the luxury of having our Chicago Chaos Combine there earlier in the year, and because of Marcus, we were able to use some of the equipment out there. We definitely appreciated it. Made for a better combine. And just to give a little bit of a heads up, most people don't understand how the NFL career is very short.
Yes.
For most people.
Yes.
You were able to extend your career like almost 3 times what
Right.
most people are able to do. And what do you equate that to? Like, what was what do you think that was the reason for that?
I think, what, for me playing, I enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the game. I didn't care who the quarterback was. I just wanted to play the game and have fun. And, with the Bears, I did have 9 quarterbacks in 6 years, so you couldn't sit here and griping, I don't have a good quarterback, I'm not getting the balls I need. Just put the ball in my area. That's all I cared about.
And you did it.
Yeah.
And you went up and got it.
And I had fun with that, and so that's how I looked at the game. I really enjoyed the game, really enjoyed playing, and I just took it like that. But you're off season too. You got to work out. You got to make sure you keep your body in shape. When it's time to come play, you play.
Absolutely. And then just to go back a little bit, most people aren't aware of this, but you had an opportunity to play in NFL Europe before you became a Bear.
Yes,
Talk
I
to
did.
us a little bit about that experience. You were the MVP of the league that year.
Right.
And, you got to play in the World Bowl, and you guys won. And, tell me a little bit about that experience and, who was a positive impact for you as a coach or a player who you played with out there who, led you in the right direction?
Well, you know what? I was given an opportunity. They asked me, Mark Hadley asked me, did I want to participate in NFL Europe? And from my point of view, like I said, I really didn't look at it as they say it's like a step from college going into the NFL. I was like, man, I get an opportunity to play football again.
That's
'cause
right.
I sat out for IR for a thumb injury, and I didn't play that whole season. So I was given that opportunity, and we practiced in Atlanta. We went to NFL Europe. I will say my coach, Coach White, he was so inspirational in the fact that he said, listen, man, you guys can – he allowed us to go out, see Europe. He said, how many people get the opportunity to come to Europe and go to 6 different countries?
Right.
He said, so enjoy it, have fun with it. And we'll play on Saturdays, and we'll have Sunday and Monday off. He allowed us to travel. I went to Paris. I went to Rome. We could catch a train anywhere.
Wow.
So we was catching trains going different places. But the Bears actually sent me their words were so I could, work on catching. Well, I think I dropped 3 balls in it.
I think you learned that one pretty well.
Yeah. So I learned that one pretty well. But it was fun, a great experience. I played against Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner was with the Admirals at the time, and it was just fun, man. We enjoyed it. And the World Bowl, that was the World Bowl. I tell people all the time, you've never won a World Bowl.
That's right.
But you've never won a World Bowl.
That's right, a
and
World Bowl.
Yes. And so, it was so much fun, man. The guys on the team were great. It was just a blast. And I took so many pictures and videos, and I get to show my kids that stuff. Being
It's an experience you'll never forget.
Yeah, you won't. You will never forget it. So
And it's
it
a
was-
unique one too. I mean, we pride ourselves on being able to be like ambassadors of football. So we
Right.
try to follow people's career and explain to people it's not always just straight from college to draft to NFL.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a path and a process to get to where you got to get to.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to open up people's eyes to all the football that's out there, from arena to indoor to Canada.
Right.
And speaking of Canada, in our last conversation, we had an opportunity to talk about a gentleman who threw one of those 9 quarterbacks that threw a touchdown
Yes.
pass to you, and that was Henry Burris.
Burris, yeah.
And he recently just retired last year, which is quite remarkable.
That is.
And he went out on top, and he won a Grey Cup with the Ottawa Rough Riders, or Ottawa Red Blacks. Sorry, I don't know why I said Rough Riders, but he went with the Red Blacks, and they're essentially an expansion team, and he led them on an overtime victory. And I was just thinking about that from our conversation the other day. How it's an amazing scenario.
It is. Look where he came from. Came to the NFL, went back to Canada, went out on top, and I think that's very awesome.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable. And then, after NFL Europe, then you started your Bears journey.
Yes.
And obviously you said that was, a roller coaster ride with 9 different quarterbacks.
Right.
But you still had a huge impact on the Bears. And as a fan, on me, I can remember you just throwing that ball way up in the air and you just skying over people to go
Yes.
get it. And then, what was, obviously you played for some other teams. What was the reason why you decided to come back to Illinois and make this your home?
Well, I was drafted here. They took a chance on me in the draft in the 4th round. I played here for 6 years, even though it was up and down, some up and down years, but, I enjoyed it. I still had a home here, so I enjoyed it here. And, I was very grateful that they gave me the opportunity to retire as a Bear.
Well, that's wonderful. And then talk to us a little bit about your Baltimore experience.
Okay.
I mean, obviously you had played 15 games there, if I'm correct.
Yes, I played 15. I said I won game against Cincinnati. I had a hamstring issue, but Baltimore, man, it was crazy coming from the Bears and coming to play with Ray Lewis and play with a team that just won the Super Bowl, a year prior to that, and it was just fantastic, man. Just coming to see their energy and see how that defense was, and it gave me a whole new look, as far as a team being led by defense versus, a team when I was with the Bears, we kind of didn't have an identity at that point in time. So, just seeing that identity and seeing how Ray corralled everybody and got everybody to play. I remember a particular game, man, we was playing Seattle, and we was down by 17 points. I think it was like 21-3. We were down at halftime. Brian Billick came in at halftime. He got all the coaches, told them to come out. He walked and pulled us together. He said, hey, listen, we coach you all throughout the week. We can't play this game for you. You guys got to play the game. He walked out without missing a beat. Ray Lewis jumped up, called the defense on one side. Big Matt and Burt called the offense on this side. Started talking like they have no coaches. Came back, we won 44-41.
Wow.
That was the leadership, though.
Sure.
That's what you came into, a team that had leaders that, took the game serious and was into the game and studied the game and mastered the game. So it was fun, man. It was definitely an experience. But, I did have a 2,000-yard running back, though. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we only dress 3 wide receivers.
Sure.
Normally you dress 5 to 6. We was just in 3. And we was running against 9-man fronts and, doing things like that. But, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing for him.
Well, that's amazing. And then obviously your next step, which was hard for me to handle at first being a Bears fan, but you went up north to go play with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Talk to us about that experience.
That was wonderful, too. Now you go from a strong defense to a strong offense. Mm-hmm. They're second or third in the league in touchdowns and yards, yards during the season. So, that was in itself was crazy. But the really crazy part is this is how I got to Minnesota. I was in Baltimore, and we were talking, about contract. I signed a 1-year deal. So we was going to do a long term. They told us that's when Terrell Owens was going through his situation in San Francisco.
Okay.
So they told my agent and I, that we're not going to look at T.O. We want to sign Marcus back. Say this on the Thursday. That Friday, they signed T.O. But T.O. had already committed to Philly.
Oh.
So Mike Tice called us that Friday. I flew to Minnesota that Friday night.
Okay.
We went out to dinner. We're talking. My wide receiver coach at the time, he was going to be my wide receiver coach. His wife looked at me in the face across the table. Okay, Marcus, what is it going to take for you to get here?
Really?
His wife did.
His
wide receiver coach's wife.
You better listen.
I said, what do you mean? She said, what do you need? Cut all the crap. What do you want in order for you to be here? I said, okay, hold on. Text my agent. He texted me the numbers. I wrote it on a napkin. Gave it to Mike Tice. Flew back home that night, Saturday night. My agent called me. We got a deal.
That's an amazing story. See, that's the stuff that we like to hear.
Yeah,
the stuff that you don't normally
hear about. A napkin contract.
A napkin contract.
Multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes.
And you got what you wanted when all those contentious negotiations happen every year.
Nothing. It was a 4-year, $12 million deal, and just hash it out
on a napkin.
On a napkin from the receiver coach wife, though. She started the conversation.
Hey, well, thank you to her.
Yes.
Hey, that's the way to do it if you could do it. Over some food and some drinks and on a napkin?
Yeah.
That's the way to go. I guarantee you don't see too many negotiations like that anymore.
No, you don't. I'm sure you don't. And so playing with Moss, man, I played with him for a year. Dante, it was crazy. It was I want to say the first 5 games of the season, I think Dante had 4 touchdowns in every game. We were throwing the ball left and right, man. It was
terrifying. It had to have been a blast. Especially because, I looked at you as our Randy Moss.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So then you got a chance to go actually play with him.
Yes.
What was that experience like? Playing, everybody looks at him as like the freak.
He is.
As advertised, is he like that?
It is what he hates to lose, man. I remember, man, at practice, he would do some stuff at practice. You're like, really? Did he just do that? Like, I mean, but it was so competitive as offense. Like, we never wanted to lose. Everything we did was catching the football. If we were standing on the sideline, we're throwing balls, catching one hand, two hands. We're throwing, different kind of balls and catching. Everything we did at practice was with the ball. 2-minute drill, we don't lose.
Wow.
Every drill we played, we don't lose. And as an offense, that was our attitude. If it's 4th and 15, Scott Linehan called a play for 3rd and 15.
Wow.
He called it for 30. He didn't call it so we can have punt or drop down. No, he called it for 3rd and 15. I think that year we had, percentage-wise, in 3rd and long, I think 12 or more yards, our percentage was higher than people 3rd and short.
Wow.
I think it was like 10 to 15 teams, our percentage was higher than theirs.
Confidence just builds confidence when you know you can
does.
get 12 yards on a 3rd down. You're not really worried about having one sack that happens every once in a while.
It wasn't. So he said, I'll take a sack if we can get a big play.
Wow.
And you guys had a few of those.
Yes, and
Plenty
there
of
was-
those.
It was that throw your hand up, and that meant when you threw that hand up, you just run.
Wow. And now here's a question that's going to be rough for me to ask, but how was it like to play against your old team when the time came?
Man, it was different being on the visitor side. I remember walking on Soldiers Field on the visitor side. Just walking out was different.
Yeah.
It was just, but you still love Soldier Field. It still felt like home. You know what I mean? It didn't
Sure.
feel like I was a visitor. It still felt like I was home. And I still knew a couple of the guys playing against them. That was, fun. I caught a ball in the right corner end zone for a touchdown. And I was talking to R.W. McQuarters and Mike Brown and those guys. So it was fun. It was fun. Then
Sure.
we went to dinner. We ate afterwards, so it was pretty cool.
That's nice. And did you have an opportunity? Who was the impact person for you aside from the wide receiver coach's wife? Who else had an impact on you over in Minnesota?
Over in Minnesota, I'll say Moss. I mean, he shows you, what he was. And I know contrary to what people see, he actually competes at practice, doesn't want to lose. He's
I believe
actually
it.
running full speed. He's running routes. He studies the game, So he was definitely one of those guys where you say, like, he'll tell you, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this, and, you need to focus on this. And, I mean, it was exciting. It was fun,
Sure.
to be with that guy and play with him and, see him grow, too, as a player.
Yeah, later on in his career, he ended up coming back to Minnesota and catching Brett Favre's 500th touchdown pass.
Right.
So he's etched in history for sure.
Yes, Moss is, man.
So then, but moving forward, obviously, where do you see football going? Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, we had a chance to sit down and we went to a game last week or so, and we talked a little bit about the AFL, indoor football.
Right.
And now there's football going on in the Middle East. There's football in China happening.
Right.
There's still the leftovers of what happened with NFL Europe,
Europe,
but
right.
still happening out there now. I think it's globalizing right before our very eyes, but where do you see it going, as time goes on?
Yeah, I see it globalizing, too. I think the hard part's going to be, because I know they want to put teams in Europe, but you're getting a guy to, like, uproot his whole family.
Right.
And go play, 5, 6. He has to change his whole lifestyle.
I think we might see a pro team in either Mexico or Canada before we'll go
Right.
to Europe.
I
That's just
think
my
that
personal
too. I
opinion.
think that too.
For travel purposes alone and for marketing purposes, I think
Right.
we'll see that as it comes along.
Yes.
Where I don't know if we'll ever see anything happen with the CFL and the NFL. The hatred is
That's
Yeah,
never
it's
gonna
real.
happen.
Yeah.
The hatred is real.
Yeah, and I don't know if Canada would kind of take an NFL team because they already think certain ways about Americans anyway.
Correct.
So, I don't know where that's going. But I tell you what, they need to bring hitting back. NFL needs to bring, like, guys hit. I mean, we understand it's a rough sport. It's a contact sport. But nowadays we got guys that are catching the ball, laying on the ground. I mean, guys are not going full speed. So if he's going full speed, he's not. He doesn't think you're going to hit him, and you hit him. I mean, come on.
Right.
That's where you
Something
get hurt
gotta
real
give,
bad.
yeah. So if everybody's going full speed and hitting, then I think, guys do get hurt, but still, you'll be okay. That's why you play the game.
And
In
I
high
think
school, there is no – in college, too, there is no layoff.
Sure.
They're hitting you every single time. All of a sudden, you get to the pros, it's like we out there playing two-hand touch.
And that's ridiculous. And correct me if I'm wrong. The equipment's better now.
Yes.
The safety and just the the form. People know how to tackle. It's
Right.
not, you're not making it that far by spearing people.
Right.
It's not happening. So you're taught. You know how to play the game. You're given the proper equipment. Let them play the game.
Yes, and I think a lot of times, too, when I see these tight ends running seams and receivers running seam routes and they're running shallow crosses, they don't even tense up. Like, they catch the ball and just know they're not going to be hit.
You don't see the guys with alligator arms anymore.
Yes, and so my thing was, I remember one man had a hot read and I had to run a slant. I normally get hit, but I know the ball's coming. So I catch the ball and I brace,
Sure.
for the contact. These boys don't even brace. They just run out there and do it. And then you see quarterbacks sticking balls in holes they shouldn't be.
Right.
You can't stare down a seam right and throw it. You know that safety's coming.
Yep.
Because you can fit it in the hole, he got to catch it. No. Don't put guys in that position.
Yeah, just leave them out to dry when you got a safety coming over the side.
And they see that. I see Tom Brady do it all the time. His receivers don't last that long.
Right.
Because he be sticking balls in holes he should not be doing. Don't run that guy into that safety or that linebacker like that. You see the drive route. You see that safety beaming on that boy. Don't lead him into that.
And it's funny, you're talking about one of the best, to do it.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it.
Yeah. He
So
is.
I see Aaron Rodgers doing it every other Sunday.
He'll do it too.
Oh, yeah.
And
And it's
those
like,
guys
well, that
put
guy's going to
balls
lose
in
his
holes.
head.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
And the
so.
defenses are more complex now, and they're paying attention, and they know
Right.
what to watch for. You don't think they have the film. I mean, as the years go on, technology gets more intense.
Right.
And so every angle is out there for you to watch. 360, they can move the camera however they want, and they get to see every part of that, how you do your play. So they know when you're lining up what you're about to do.
Yeah, they
and
do.
so if you don't know how to read through your progressions, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, it's something wrong. In the NFL today, I remember, like 3 years ago, I was on the sideline, and that series, they actually have the video of the series. So
Right then and there.
They get their iPad or their Microsoft Pad or whatever they get, and they press play, and they get to watch the play.
And that's insane.
That's insane. Dude, we had these little pictures. It showed
Everyone's
you,
huddled around.
Yes, it showed you on the 5, and then it showed you 3 yards down. It was crazy. Now these guys have videos, man.
See, back then you have to take all those pictures and start flipping them.
Yes,
from the
yeah,
movie.
to see it. Exactly. So, man, it's just crazy. All the technology they have now. I mean, really, if I could sit back and, watch a guy's stance for the whole series and watch how he jam me with right hand or left hand or two hands, and I could look at his footwork and see what the defense was in. We ran this. I mean, geez, they're making it so easy.
Yeah, it's amazing. You could really do your homework and be like a smart player when it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
You can almost get overload information with how much they have now. So you can
Yes.
tell if guys like a foot and a half different than it used to be. This means this at this point because you got down to such a science.
They do now, man. It's just insane.
Did you notice a big difference between you started in the league and when you ended up in those about 9 seasons, 10 seasons?
Yeah, no, I mean, in 10 seasons, the game was kind of the same. Well, when I first started, though, my first 3 years, we didn't have the 5-yard rule.
Okay.
So guys could jam you and touch you and play 5 to 20 yards, whatever it was. And so that's the only kind of the biggest thing that really changed
Wow.
in the game as far as when I was playing it at the time. But
It seems like every 3 seasons now there's a whole new offense that takes the league by storm that gets snuffed out the next season.
Right.
I think so. All the technology, you can narrow everything down in a minute.
and defenses started to pay attention to everything. Like when I first started, my 3rd year, we brought the bubble screen from college. They didn't think it would work. They didn't think Gary Crowden could get that to work in the NFL. But the play wasn't designed to score a touchdown. It was designed like a toss sweep.
Sure.
Get the ball in your hand quick, let you get 4 or 5 yards around the corner, and we was good, So now it's 2nd and 5. So that's what the bubble screen was for. And then we had those middle screens, and we kind of brought that offense in. But after about 2 or 3 years, defense started to pick up, and now you got to change. Now you gotta
Absolutely.
analyze.
Yeah, they definitely. We fell in love with those bubble screens for a minute.
Bear fans didn't like them in the beginning. The Bears fans didn't like that in the beginning. We was throwing the ball too much.
Yeah, well, I've always wanted the Bears to throw more personally, but that's another story. But hopefully the future will see new things for us as we're in the rebuilding stages.
Right.
We got Mike Lennon for 1 year. We'll see what happens with him.
That's crazy.
We got Mitch Trubisky.
Right.
The hope maybe he'll turn into the Polish Bomber number 2
Uh-oh.
for us. We'll see what happens.
Had to work that in.
Had to work it in. I try to work it in at least once a show to say the Polish Bomber. Anytime I can get that in there.
Gotcha.
And believe me, we're going to cover the Arena Bowl later. I'll have an opportunity to say it again.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
But thank you very much, Marcus, for being on the show today.
you're
We
welcome.
really appreciate it. And you're welcome to come on again anytime you'd like.
Absolutely, man. I will. I definitely will.
And as the Bear season goes on, and hopefully we'll get to take this show on location, we'd
There
love
you
to
go.
have you come out and
I will.
do a little bit of partying with us. And maybe I can't do any napkin contracts or
Contracts.
anything, but we could probably offer a couple of drinks and some good food
Hey,
next time we
man.
go on location.
That sounds good. That
All right.
sounds good to
Well,
me.
thank you very much,
Thank
Marcus.
you, man. I
We
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it
very much,
Thank you.
Marcus.
I appreciate it. Absolutely.
And everyone will be back after this commercial break with Dominique Collins from Chicago Bliss, and we're going to continue to have a great show.
There you go.
Hey everybody, I'm Pete Ferrari, the regional station manager of the BeOnAir.com network, part of the Illinois Media School, both the Lombard campus and the Chicago campus. I've been part of the Illinois Media School family now for almost 10 years. I enrolled as a student back in 2007 after getting my undergrad and associates at Creighton University. I decided to come to Illinois Media School to further my education in the world of broadcasting. That then led me to work as an on-air talent for Radio Disney, AM 1300, for over 6 years. I also worked in promotions for them and did some production. I also worked for KFLN Radio, AM 960, a country station, and I worked for KJJM The Rock, a classic rock station. After my tenure with both Disney and KFLN and KJJM, I moved to the sports side of things and became a play-by-play announcer for the Big East Digital Network, covering primarily college volleyball. I'm glad to have stayed and been a part of the family. I returned in 2009 as one of the assistants for the sports stations and now help run and operate all 5 radio stations in the network. One of the biggest things I enjoy about working here is coming from the perspective of a student, not only a college student, but a student at this school, finding out ways to continually expand the knowledge base of what the students learn. The way to describe the students of this school is very dynamic, very unique, and very employable. And the reason I put that word at the end is they come in with a drive, they come in with a passion. It's a short program, it's less than a year, but within that time they're gaining the skills that when they graduate, they're right alongside every other college graduate, if not in certain ways and aspects ahead of them, because we don't treat our students just as students, we treat our students as pre-professionals. So the first week of class, you could be out doing play-by-play for a sporting event, you could be doing camera or sideline reporting, you could be interviewing a band, you could be doing a show, all of that almost from day one. And that's why we treat you as pre-professionals, treat them as pre-professionals, because we know they have what it takes. They came here for a reason, so we want to take that passion from day one and implement that out in the field. So that way, they're not waiting their 9 months to get involved and learn the skill. They're learning the skill from day one. So I look forward to working with anybody that comes through these walls, as I did years ago, and training them to get a job so one day I can go and listen to them on the radio or watch them on television, which I do with so many different people that have come through the halls of IMS. Again, I'm Pete Ferreri, play-by-play for the Big East Digital Network. I am the regional station manager for the 5 radio and web stations here, and I am IMS.
So I originally got started out of the Illinois Media School, formerly the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, through a radio ad that I saw on The Score. At the time, I wanted to be on the radio because that sounded super cool. But while I was at school there, I got to learn lots of other skills, and that got me interested in directing, which is what I do now here at WIFR. I am in charge of the newscasts and prepare them and execute them during the live news shows. While I was at Illinois Media School, I was able to get the basis of skills that allowed me to get this job, and I learned how to operate cameras and work on the equipment, and that helped me greatly in getting this job. As far as school students, you know, you got a chance to meet with lots of different types of people and you know, collaborate with them and work on projects together. And I feel like that gives you a great chance to learn how to work in the industry, because you're always going to be working with people, and it just helps you get a feel for what it's actually like out there. My name is Ben Force. I am the Senior Director at WIFR in Rockford, Illinois, and I am IMS.
I got started here at IMS recently, moving back to the Chicago area where I had been living in Connecticut, working at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, had an opportunity to move home, and I wanted to continue being an instructor, and that's how I ended up at IMS. My time here, I love working with students. The key thing in this industry, whether it's radio or TV, is it's just in a constant state of change. And we always need to have fresh ideas, and fresh people bring fresh ideas. It's just a lot of different diverse thinking, and that's how you help build a show or a show unit or a segment. And I just enjoy being able to teach, maybe teach is a strong word, but instruct kids that really want to get into this business, and we need fresh ideas, and this is a great place to do that. The students here, you know what? There are students here who are fresh out of high school. There are students here who have maybe been out working in the real world, doing whatever, selling insurance, being a police officer, whatever it is, and decide that, hey, you know what? I want to give this a shot. And so they come here. So there is really no specific age range here, and I think it's great. The students are all eager to learn because they want to be here. They're not being forced to go to school here. That's a key thing. This is something you want to do, and you're putting everything you have into doing this, and that's just fantastic. My name is Dave Zaslowski. I am the executive producer for the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Bulls radio networks. I am at the Lombard campus, and I am IMS.
The reason I'm out here at the Illinois Media School is the radio business, while there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of stations, the people in the business is a small, tight-knit group. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and I love the opportunity of being able to connect with people who have a passion to get into this business. I had great instructors as I came up through the ranks, and I really enjoy the opportunity of being able to give back, connect, share the experiences I have, and actually learn from the students as well. I think it's great that we're able to learn from each other. Your Illinois Media School students, the age range can be students who have just gotten out of high school to people who are looking for a new career option or looking to add to their career placement. They want to get involved with media, whether it's radio, television, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and that's what I think is such a great opportunity out here, is the fact that you can do radio and television, but it's not your choice. They require you to do both. I wish I had the TV and camera opportunities that the students are going to get here, plus all the hands-on activity. My name is Dustin Rhodes. I'm the executive producer with the Mully and Hanley Show on 670 The Score, and I am IMS.
Welcome back to Iowa Football 365, covering pro football around the world. And we have another great guest with us, Dominique Collins of the Chicago Bliss. Thank you very much for coming out tonight.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We saw them last week. It did not end the way we wanted it to, but it was a great game. You played great. It was a lot of fun going to the games. The first time that I went to an NFL game live, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we definitely encourage, don't knock it till you come see it live. It's a different experience than watching it on TV or, watching a replay, a highlight or something like that.
Well, tell us a little bit about those differences. I mean, I'm aware of them, but our viewers might not be. The LFL, the field play, and how many people are on the actual field. You played for 5 years at a high level. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like I said, we definitely encourage someone to come, and watch it before they ever, talk bad about it or they want to form an opinion. But the play is so much faster than I could ever even just describe to you. The hits, you can hear them across the field.
Agreed.
Some of our players have microphones on because we want to trash talk, right? And that's kind of fun for the fans to hear exactly what we're saying to each other.
And you can hear clear as day what they're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, the LFL loves it.
You definitely can. But, sometimes when a big-time player hits another big-time player and they're both mic'd up, it's awesome to hear.
I can imagine.
But, unless you're there, you can't experience that. And then another thing is just our fans, especially when it's fourth down. The other team might have 4 yards, to make a big play, and this is a huge moment of the game. Our fans get so live. They all stand up. I can hear them, and it's just a crazy experience.
It's got to be contagious for you and your teammates.
Is, definitely.
I can imagine. Well, I mean, you played for the Bliss for 5 years. Where were you before the Bliss? What did you were a college athlete of any kind, and if so, what did you play?
Yeah, so I am from the Wheaton-Naperville area, and I actually decided to go 15 minutes, away to college. But North Central College is, where I'm proud to say I'm, from, and I played soccer there. So soccer my whole entire life, I would say, 13 years or so.
Wow.
But just naturally very aggressive and just kind of had that athlete, I'm aware of my body in space and things like that. And so I played soccer. I was a defender there too.
Okay.
And I had a teammate who, she was 2 years older than me. She encouraged me to try out for the Bliss when I was a junior, but I wasn't going to travel and leave college to go do that. So after I graduated, she came back up to me, and she's like, hey, let's, try out again. And, here we are 5 years later, but definitely thank her, for that opportunity to tell me to come and play for them. I had no football experience
at all
prior to.
I would never have guessed
Bliss.
that based on all the times I've had the opportunity of seeing you play live and the highlights over the years. Yeah. Obviously, you've won 3 championships, and you've done it with a variety of different teammates.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the same team throughout the entire dynasty, I guess you want to call it. Talk about some of those players that you've met, because obviously what people don't understand is, and we were just talking about, I've been to a game. I've seen how intense things can get, and it's heavy hitting, it's hard hitting, and it's contagious for the fan.
Yeah.
I was there on the sidelines watching everything happen, and you're like, people are getting hit hard. I'm like, you're playing hard. They're running hard. This is just a show.
Yeah.
It's actual football, and it just happens to be a different brand of football that people aren't used to. And when you do get around it, you want to see more of it.
The big thing for me was there's no arm tackles. There was full-on shoulder into the hip, drive someone down, not just pushing them down, they're going down.
Yeah.
No, none of that was happening.
Yeah.
But over the past 5 years, what's the difference between one championship to another, from the teammates to whatever?
Yeah, so it's funny to look back on just because every championship is a different championship, just like you said, and nothing will compare to that first one.
Sure.
We were not, to be expected as the winners. the LA Temptation had won 3 years in a row, and we had lost our first game of the season to them. So we played them in playoffs. Again, no one thought we'd be, winning against them. We ended up beating them, went on to the semifinals, won that championship game. So it was almost like our Cinderella story at that time. Then the second time, we went and, again, like you said, different team.
Mm-hmm.
We lost some players. We gained some great players, but now we had this, chip on our shoulder.
Sure.
So it's always hard to win when someone's trying to gun you down. Then we ended up losing, our third year. So we lost to Seattle, and we came back in 2016 and wanted it more, right?
Yep.
So every year has been different. We lost some big-time players where they either took a year off for personal reasons or whatever. But it was fun. I don't know if you are familiar with Allie Alberts.
Of course.
So she is, I call her my safety, just because she's the one who
yeah.
plays behind me. But, we lost her last season, so 2016. So she was not there for that, third championship. So it is kind of weird to think that players that might be Hall of Fame players were not there for all of the Bliss dynasty.
Sure.
So that's kind of the biggest takeaway. But every year, there's opportunity for change, and I think that kind of brings at least our team together a little bit more.
Now, when it comes to the LFL, who would you say is the Bliss's biggest rivalry?
Gosh, it's so difficult. Again, just because it changes every year.
Mm-hmm.
The Atlanta Steam like to say that they're our rivals, and they might be able to keep that now because they have beaten us as of 2 weeks ago.
First time.
Once. Yeah. So that was the 8th time that we had played them in 5 seasons, and that was the first time they'd ever beaten us. So
I've seen a lot of those other games, and
Yes.
they were tough games.
Yeah.
They do definitely come to play, and they seem to have a chip on their shoulder as well.
Yep.
But you guys always put them in their place. That
Yeah.
was fun to watch.
Yeah. So I would like to say the Atlanta Steam. I would probably say, Seattle. I would like to say that Seattle's one of our rivals because we don't get to play them all the time.
Sure.
So when we do, I think we're very evenly matched. And we have gone games back and forth with them. We've even tied them.
Sure.
I think it was 34-34 one season. We went into overtime, ended up tying them. So I would like to say that they're more like our rival.
Well, obviously, we weren't planning on having you here this week. I know you were planning on going into California for the championship game. It's got to feel a little strange not being there this year. We have the Steam and the Mist, if I'm correct, that are going to be there this year. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Yeah, so again, Seattle. I think that we are a evenly matched team with Seattle. I don't think that Atlanta's going to be ready for them. I'm not familiar. I don't think that they've ever played each other. I think this might be the first time in LFL history, if I'm correct, at least for the seasons that I've been here. But I definitely think that Seattle's going to come out on top of that.
Gotcha. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about what you've been doing outside of football and where you're going now.
Sure. Yeah, so I work for a recruiting company, and it's called Next College Student Athlete. Our initials are NCSA. But I like to call myself a guidance counselor for the recruiting process for high school athletes.
Okay.
So that's probably the easiest way I can explain it. We just make sure that families that don't know what they should be doing or where to start in the recruiting process, they have kind of a stepping stone. So we are located in Chicago, but we work with every single school in the country. So it doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter the division level. If your high school athlete wants to play in college, we make sure you at least have some type of education to pursue that.
Wonderful, and I definitely am looking forward to introducing you to some of the other contacts that we have. I think we can help you out tremendously in that arena, as we're always trying to put dot connecting together when it comes to athletes, especially football players. Not everybody knows, including yourself. You came out as a soccer player first. You went the Walter Payton route.
Yep.
You played soccer first, and then you went to go play football. That's the way to go, apparently. And but most people are unaware. They think it's like NFL or bust. And we all know, like, the statistics are really low to come from college to go into the NFL, even to be drafted. And it's nice to be able to let people know that there is other options, whether it's indoor arena football, Canada, China, Europe. You get the idea. And you could continue to pursue your career above and beyond the NFL and still hold on to that dream if you choose and head that direction.
Right.
But no, this has been an exciting ride for you, and I'm glad to have you on the show. Do you have anybody that you'd like to say hello to, or anybody that you'd like to highlight from your last 5 years from the Bliss?
Oh, gosh, what a big question. Well, I was thinking about it just recently that I was actually talking to one of the parents I work with, and he told me that his son was graduating, playing his final college baseball game. And as the parent, the dad said, it's weird that I've just experienced my last game watching. And so I was thinking about that, and I realized that my family just watched their last athlete game. They probably thought that soccer was when I was going to retire.
Sure.
So it's probably emotional for them then. But then them coming to every game of mine, for football, and these past 2 weeks, I just realized that they'll never watch a game again. So definitely want to thank them for showing me that support. It's not always easy to say, hey, Dad, I'm going to be playing in booty shorts and a sports bra. But he was my biggest supporter. He'd always get people from work to come and try to check out his daughter laying the wood on some some running back or wide receiver.
Which you did plenty of that.
Yeah, so definitely want to thank my parents and then my coaching staff. I was just laughing with you guys that I see myself as a Pee Wee football player because I only have 5 seasons.
Sure.
And yes, that's longer than a college career, right, or maybe high school like some people do, but without my coaches, I wouldn't understand how to read an offense. I wouldn't understand even how to backpedal or to open my hips and things like that. So definitely want to shout out them too.
Well, congratulations on a wonderful career. You are a Chicago football legend, in my opinion.
Thanks.
So we're extremely excited to have you on the show. We'd love to have you on the show in the future. We're going to have all different types of events that are going to be coming up, and you're always welcome to be here.
Thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll be back in a bit then. I'm with both 365. Got the CFL, AFL, and the NFL to cover. We'll be back in a bit.
And by the way, we have a special guest in the house. Coach Pike from the Bliss is
Oh,
going to come
man.
talk some football with us. We're going to talk some Canada, we're going to talk some arena, and we're going to talk some NFL with that man in a minute.
Things will go off the rails in a minute. Back on I'm on Football 365.
I came to Illinois Media School because I want to give back to the current students. It's something that really means a lot to me as an instructor, as a mentor, because I've been in this business for over 20 years. So it meant a lot to me to be able to come back and just teach some of the tricks of the trade to the students here at Illinois Media School. I've enjoyed my time tremendously here because I'm able to speak one-on-one with the students, having that personal touch, telling them about some of the pitfalls of the business, some of the positives of the business as well. I think that after 20 years of doing this, it means a lot that I can be able to lend my expertise and talk about some of the things I had to go through so that way they're not frustrated, so they feel like, hey, you know what, someone's listening to my problems. So I definitely want to do that. I love the students here at Illinois Media School, and the reason why is because you can see the desire in their eyes. You can tell that they really want to take it to the next level. I admire what they're doing because in this particular era of broadcasting, they have so many things they could do. It could be radio, it could be television, it could be web design, they could do so many different things. So I'm so happy that they had the opportunity to do it because I didn't have an Illinois Media School when I was coming up. I had to go to a 2 or 4 year college to try to get a career started in the business. But Illinois Media School is so terrific that students can be able to get it done in 1 year. Job placement assistance, the financial aid for those who qualify is just terrific. I'm Jonathan Hood from SiriusXM NBA Radio and ESPN Radio from the Illinois Media School campus in Lombard, and I am IMS.
I got started at IMS through a good friend of mine and a colleague at 670 The Score, Rick Camp, who knew I was an instructor at other universities and knew I was looking to get into a place with passionate students who know what they want to do. They know this is what they want to do for a living, and I have absolutely found that in my time here at IMS. The students are driven, they're passionate about broadcasting, radio, TV, internet, every asset of broadcasting they are completely passionate about, and it's very refreshing for me, having come from a university where students are obsessed with their general eds and other things that distract them from their major. These students here are here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to break into the broadcasting business, and it's some of the best and brightest young talent I've seen in my 16 years in the industry. My name is Jay Zawatsky. I'm an executive producer for 670 The Score. I'm an instructor here at IMS, and I am IMS.
Welcome back to iBone Football 365, covering pro football around the world. And as we alluded to, special ghost.
Ghost. He's the ghost. Can't even see him.
Sorry you died, man.
I'm quick, baby. I'm quick.
Thanks for coming back to life for us. Coach Pike.
Yeah, no problem. Good to see
Coach
you guys
Pike,
again.
back in the house. Love to have you as always as a guest. We wanted to have a regular as him as a regular for the rest of our shows, and here he is popping in to talk some football with us.
Yeah, I scooped up Dom to come out here and have you guys talk with her as well. So
which was great, and we appreciate that.
Thank you
very much.
Yeah. We were kind of roadies going to practice pretty much all year for the past 2 years. So
very cool.
Wasn't no big deal today.
Well, tonight we're going to end our show with some talks about the Arena Football League that happened this past weekend, the Arena Bowl 30 to be exact. They've been around for 30 years now.
Yep.
And the Philadelphia Soul took on the Tampa Bay Storm. And it was one hell of a game. Right up until halftime, the Storm it looked like they were in the driver's seat.
That's my old
Storm.
team.
The Soul?
That's my
No,
old
the Storm.
That's right.
Yeah, the Storm looked like they were in the driver's seat. They were winning 20-14 at halftime, and I was starting to wonder if Philly was going to be able to, come back. And of course, that pep talk that they must have gotten from Ron Jaworski at halftime really must have took it in. And I don't think that guy sat down the entire Arena Bowl. Dick Vermeil was right next to him the entire time, just sitting there looking calm, cool, and collective. And Ron Jaworski looked like he was going to pop a blood vessel. He just wanted there was the opportunity to go back to back and win their second Arena Bowl. And Dan Rodenbach, I have been trying to get that last name right all day today. He performed an amazing Arena Bowl. He ended up he tore his ACL during the game and continued to keep playing. He put on a brace, and they just had him even at one point when I thought they were using him as a decoy. He faked the ball and did a rollout and threw a touchdown pass to really give him the lead on a 4th and 1.
They just showed the picture of it. He tied Kurt Warner's record, most completions, most attemptions in a Arena Bowl game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're tying Kurt Warner in anything, you're doing okay.
Yeah, that's not a bad situation to be in. And most people don't know this, but the Soul are the winningest team in Philadelphia as a pro team since their inception.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the opportunity. I played for Tampa, and then I I was up and down with Philly a couple of times. So I've been definitely affiliated with both. Actually, I was there when Bon Jovi was
an owner
as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, him and Ron.
Those are glory years.
Yes. I remember that.
Tampa will always had my heart because that's how I first got, into this arena indoor football thing. And
I'm not going to lie, I was rooting for them and Joe Hills. Joe Hills is a legend in the game. I was kind of like, is the Storm going to pull this off? But then it was like a steamroll event. Like as soon as halftime was done with, the Philadelphia Soul just came out, and you could tell that they were a step above everybody else this year.
That's what the story was all season, was the Soul are just the better team. And so they took that big lead. When the Storm took the big lead in the first half, like, oh, this could be something interesting. But the Soul showed who they were all season.
Absolutely. Like I said, it was 2014. That is not a safe lead in indoor football. So
not at all.
You got to be up 3, 4, 5 scores to be safe. So.
And they had a couple of turnovers, and they were able to stop the Storm. And then it was funny because at the end, the Storm started actually making a little bit of what looked like a comeback. And the score is not vindictive of what actually happened. They ended up winning Seoul 44-40. And it wasn't that close.
Right.
They scored at the very last second. They were up by 14 with like 3 seconds to go, and the Storms, added on another touchdown, and then they called the game, and then confetti started flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And they've been doing their parades this week, and they treat that team really well out there. ABC covered it, and it was a great coverage of the game itself. And that Philadelphia rallies around their arena football, and you can see it. They're for good reason. Even the Eagles gave them a shout out on social media, congratulating them on winning an Arena Bowl.
Community involvement is 90% of an arena football team nowadays.
100%. And Philly has great sports fans.
Yes.
They support win or lose, so it's a good thing.
And they'll let you know how they feel.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
always good.
Definitely.
Blunt honesty.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to the Soul back-to-back, and they'll be going for a third one next year. We'll see how the FL.
My buddy Ron Jaworski, congratulations on your 3rd ring, brother.
He's just trying to butter you up to get you on the show. I'm okay with that plan.
Yeah, that's a fact, folks. I am buttering this up. Butter on the toast. I'd love to get Ron Jaworski on the show. I'm already working on the angles to make that happen.
He's going to have a whole plate of Polish sausages ready to go.
Kielbasa is the whole bid, buddy. I'm ready.
I'm going to be replaced.
You wouldn't believe how fast.
I know, right?
So the CFL just hit the halfway point. Lots of great games in the CFL. We'll go through some kind of the big ones.
Tight games too, huh?
Yeah, Winnipeg 34 over Montreal 31. Winnipeg has just come out of nowhere and just lit up because they were, I thought, like the bottom third maybe even in teams beginning of the season. No, that's not the case. They're all the way number 2 a lot of the power rankings. They just showed up. Maurice Leggett's shutting down that backside again.
And hats off to Montreal as well, as they, a lot of people, pretty much have called them for dead, so to speak, and they're hanging around. They've got some talent over there too, and they're not interested in just laying down and letting people roll over them. Unfortunately, like another team I'm going to talk about later on. But we'll get into that.
Might wear blue.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So
this is true, especially with that league.
Yeah.
And these teams get to see each other anywhere from 4 and 5 times in a season. So at some point, they start to figure each other out.
Yeah,
And it looks like the East isn't as bad as I thought it was. Or the West isn't as good either way, but
like
it's not
the first
quite
time
the
I was here?
bloodbath. Yeah, that was calling people dumpster fires, which is still true for one team, which we'll get to. The sad one of the week, Edmonton Eskimos lost at home 31-54 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saskatchewan's another team that took a few lumps beginning and then have just been rocketing.
They're my surprise team of the year. I feel like they've really turned it up in the second half here, and they've just done some things that I didn't expect that they could even do. Kind of wrote them off as well as not the team that was going to be able to do anything, and they're showing everyone, hey, we're still here, and we're going to cause some trouble, and obviously they did.
So you notice the theme is that we're always wrong.
Yes,
So,
especially when it comes to CFL games for some reason. Unless I'm always going to be 50 or 50, 50-50 for the Argonauts because I'm picking them every week.
Right.
Well, maybe not that high.
So
We're going to pick them every week.
So it's pick your opposites when you go to the betting. Huh?
Exactly.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Ottawa Red Blacks got their second one in a row, third of the season, over the BC Lions. BC Lions, I thought they were going to be just taking them to the woodshed.
And they didn't. The Grey Cup defending champions, the Red Blacks, they have a great defense. They've been at the bottom tier of the league for more. They just cannot seem to win a game. And now all of a sudden they're amping up. Maybe at the right time. Maybe they're going to try to sneak in like they did last year.
They were the best 1-6-1 team. Now they're the best 3-6-1 team. So
Yep.
they're really climbing high.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
Well, they lost, I think, the first 6 games. They lost 5 by a combined 4 points.
Oh, see.
So they're real
I know
close
how that
every
works.
time.
That sounds like Purdue for me.
And then, Toronto, game of the week for Mark Knickie. Toronto 7, Calgary 23.
Did you hear that I just gave you guys the beatbox? I'm like, I had to watch that game. I watched it from start to finish. In the beginning, the Argonauts looked they were in there. I mean, they were winning, and then that was at 7-0, and then they just derailed, and they just didn't seem to be able to have what it takes to finish the job. Ricky Ray still looks sharp out there. I'm glad to have him back. I think this week could be a good week for them.
I meant, what about the game, not the entire season? It's just the same story.
The game
season or the
itself
game.
was bad news bears. I mean, Bo Levi Mitchell is the most outstanding player in CFL, and it's for a reason. That guy's got not only the best name in Canadian football,
Right.
but on top of it, he's got the game to go along with it, and he just rips people apart. And it doesn't seem like anything's going to stop Calgary from getting to the Grey Cup again.
Yeah.
Well, like, how many rushes do you think he had, Bo Levi Mitchell, in the first 7 games?
You love saying the name.
I do love saying that name. He had 0 rushing attempts, which is almost impossible to do.
For him, right?
Or just in Canada in general.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know he's a quarterback, but he takes off though.
He doesn't, but he never does. Peyton Manning would go 5 yards upfield.
Oh, okay.
Mitchell is just staying back all day
He really
long.
sits in that pocket, and they protect him really well, and he's got receivers all over the place. Wow. And they're breaking lots of records, too. So we'll see. Again, regular season means nothing. The Red Blacks proved that last year. They squeaked in as a wild card, essentially, and they won the championship. So anything is possible. You just got to keep on playing and stick it to your game plan and trying to get there at the end. The whole point is trying to get there at the end.
Well, let's talk about next week's games. And now they're halfway through the season. Most teams have played 9, few 10, few 8, but basically halfway through the season. First game, we've got Ottawa at Montreal. Ottawa is 3-6-1. Montreal is 3-6-0.
I mean, obviously their records show that they're close, but Ottawa is just a step above there. Their defense is insane, and I think they're going to Montreal will probably give them a run, just like Montreal did this past week. But it's going to be the Red Blacks taking it.
Yeah, I think Ottawa finally found their confidence. Now that they've got a couple of wins in a row, I think now they'll be able to take it off. They had a little trouble with the quarterback at the beginning because you go from Henry Burst to anybody, it's going to be a little bit drop off. But I feel like they've gotten that one kind of settled too. All right, who do you got in this one?
Yeah. Well, if you guys both are taking Ottawa, I'm going to go with Montreal. I'll go with the underdog. See what they can do.
You got Durant's going to have a good game. That's what we're feeling.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, okay, great. It'll probably happen this way,
You said
too.
go opposite.
We gave you the
That's
cliff
what I'm
notes.
taking, bro.
We gave you the cliff notes.
And he read them all. That's what we're really happy about. All right, game 2. This one's Sunday. We got Winnipeg Blue Bombers at Saskatchewan Roughriders.
They're playing at the Rough Riders. I'm gonna go with Saskatchewan. I think they're on the upswing. As much as I like what the Blue Bombers have been doing, you're going into Saskatchewan. The fans are great over there, and hopefully they'll disturb a little bit of what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have been doing.
Yeah, both teams are on a high run right now. Saskatchewan's booming up in the power rankings. Winnipeg's only lost 2 games because I think they were 1-2 at the beginning, so they've been rattling them off pretty nicely.
Sounds like they're the one to go with. I'm going with the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, I'm going with you.
Yeah,
Winnipeg.
It sounds like they're on a nice little run, so
we'll see what happens.
All right, well, then we have Edmonton Eskimos, best team in the league, at Calgary.
So he says they're the best team in the league. Notice how he's a Green Bay Packer fan and Edmonton's colors are green and gold. Yeah,
I
love
have
it.
no idea about the connection. That is just a coincidence.
I got to go with Bo Levi Mitchell. That's happening. He's going to smoke him. Sorry, Mike Riley. I know you've been having a great year, but Bo Levi is going to do what he needs to do.
I'm going to have to go with the name, too. Bo Levi, baby.
Bo Levi Mitchell?
Bo Levi Mitchell.
I think we're going to have to get Bo Levi Mitchell on the show.
I'm going to give me a jersey.
Right.
There's going to be a counter next episode. How many times is saying that name? Yes, I destroy my
Game
set.
over.
I got very angry about Mike Bo, coach, but all right, that is true. Bo.
Bo Levi Pike.
I want to go with the Edmonton Eskimos, but they've lost 2 in a row. They're a pretty hurt team, but it seems to be more than just injuries going on right there. And the Calgary Stampeders, once you're 7-1-1, and 7 in a row they won?
Yep.
6 out of 7, I should say. Yeah, it's going to be Calgary, unfortunately. Then last one, Toronto at Hamilton. All right, Mark, give this speech how this is only going to turn around the season for Toronto.
I don't have to say anything. Hamilton is hot garbage. They're such hot garbage that they brought in Johnny Football last week for a workout.
Are you serious?
Oh, it's real.
Did he make the team?
No, they sent him
cut
away.
him?
So they haven't said one way or the other.
They didn't
but they
resign
don't
him.
seem like they look like they're going to bring him on board. It's a desperate team making desperate moves. As much as they have a storied, great franchise, they're falling apart this year. They just got rid of their longtime head coach, and the Argonauts are going to rip them apart. Ricky Ray's going to have probably like a 500-yard day.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I think that would be his game, to be honest with you. Johnny Football.
He's in
the CFL?
If he was,
yeah, all that space to run around in.
Yes.
Oh, he'd be great at it.
I agree. I would like to see him play, but apparently, according to some of the reports that I've read, they weren't too impressed with what they saw.
In between happy hour and
In between, what are you talking about?
After hours.
We combine things. We're efficient here.
And I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. I like Johnny Football. He's a Heisman winner. I think he's got talent. I get upset that he's not playing somewhere. I want to see him play.
I agree too. I mean, you get those opportunities of this. It's sad to see somebody
not take advantage of it.
Exactly.
And obviously he's interested, or he wouldn't have given them. He went to Buffalo and put on a little workout for the Ticats, and I guess they have the rights to him. That's why they did.
I see what you're saying.
And so, but we'll see. I guess time will tell, but they're going to need Johnny Football if they think they're going to win this weekend.
Who do you got, Coach? Toronto or Hamilton?
I'm gonna have to go with the Argos, man. I'll have to go with Toronto.
Well, I feel like Hamilton finally gets their win this week.
Oh,
I think Toronto's really falling hard, really falling heavy. I think they've fallen.
I think
up
Michael
pretty good.
Heim is falling hard and heavy, folks.
For the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Now, if Johnny Football comes and plays, I'll go with the Hamilton. But if they let him spin.
If Vonzil comes with never playing CFL before and having 0 practices, that's going to be the linchpin. Puts him over the Toronto.
That's how bad they are.
I mean, he's just the improv man. He just makes it happen.
He'd be real fun with
in college. I guess with the Browns, he really didn't do a whole lot, but definitely the A&M dude. You talk about a stud, man. It's just
19 years old, winning a Heisman Trophy. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not a huge into college football, but he made me want to watch them.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a fascinating
Beat
player.
Alabama.
Those spin moves that he would get to get out of there, he reminded me of like a young Doug Flutie.
Right.
He would buy enough time to let one guy or 2 defenders miss while the guys are running the waggle wheel route, whatever. You're going to have enough time if he's going to buy you some.
I guess that's why I'd like to see him in the CFL because he does remind me of Doug Flutie. And I think he might flourish up there and have an opportunity to write that second chapter of his career.
For sure.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on the CFL?
No, it's an exciting season. I'm looking forward to the second half and seeing where it all goes. But we'll see what happens. We got a long way to go, and everyone's got a lot of playing to do.
All right, we're going to run through the NFL preview real fast. Still a little bit of time away. I think the Thursday, September 7th, is when the first game will happen with the Chiefs at New England, I believe.
Yep.
But let's
Thursday
go
Night Football back in business. I'm looking forward to it.
No doubt.
Well, let's start at the AFC North and start talking about teams real fast. We don't have a whole bunch of time, but what's your prognosis for the AFC North?
The AFC North, it's a tough division. And I guess it just kind of depends on, what you like. But my poison's always been the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that they're going to have, they got their big three out there with Brown, Bell, and Roethlisberger. If they can continue to play their game and do it the way they do it, I don't think anyone in that division is going to be able to dethrone them.
Yeah, I agree with you. Pretty much, I think Pittsburgh's going to be number 1, Cleveland's number 4. We can pretty much flip, I think, the other 2 teams. The Bengals and the Ravens. What do you think?
I'm going with the Bengals.
Really?
No kidding.
I'm going with the Red Rocket, baby. Red Rocket and AJ.
Wow, okay.
I think they're gonna. I think their defense is really where it's at. Obviously, Roethlisberger. He rarely makes it through a whole season. So, and I've never been impressed with their backups there. Who's the kid from Oklahoma? I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but
I know what you're talking about.
Enough to tell you that I'm not impressed with their backups. So, what's his name?
Nixon?
Mixon? No, not the running back, the quarterback.
No.
With Pittsburgh.
Our producer's giving us bad information
He's in
left
there.
and right.
He's throwing out all kinds of names. Mixon's a stud, though, for running back, though.
Fred Favre? Was it Favre?
Favre? No.
He's no Tony Reale, folks.
Warren Moon? I don't know.
Tying the CFL goodness. That's good.
Right.
Let's move along here to the NFC North.
Sorry about that.
All right. And I'll let you take that over, as I already know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm glad Marcus is gone right now. But Bears are going to be comfortably in 4th place. I think they'll be in the running for the number 3 pick in the draft. And then it's not a strong division. Detroit, Minnesota, I think they're both mid-tier teams. I think the Bears are just bad.
Yeah. Do you think anybody else
of course
will make the playoffs other than Green Bay in that division?
It's always a toss-up for the wild card. It's always one team, but if I was going to put money, I wouldn't put on Minnesota or Detroit or
I
Chicago.
agree. I don't think you're going to see a wild card team come out of our division.
The only one I could see, maybe Detroit.
Maybe.
I think Minnesota's still trying to figure out what they're doing at quarterback up there. So,
well, they're trying to. They can't figure out quarterback if you can't figure out your line. They're like Swiss cheese up there. Bradford can't even stand for 3 seconds without getting smoked.
He doesn't have to now. He got paid.
Yeah, he don't care anymore.
Right. And Bridgewater, he's still nursing that leg. So
I think Green Bay's a real good team, but I don't think they're an elite team. I think this whole division isn't quite.
Yeah, and the Bears are figuring it out too as well. So, but I like Trubisky.
I do too.
I think.
I just don't know.
I don't think he needs to play right now. I think they need to wait maybe a year, let him just groom.
That's gonna be hard for that patience to build up if anything happens.
Well, competitors, it is what it is. But
I think they put their money in Glennon for a reason. They've got to let him ride out this year. He's in a contract year, so he's going to play good. And then as much as I want to see Trubisky in there, like I said, he's our new Polish bomber. We should keep a ticker for how many times I get to say that. And
one for Jaworski, one for Polish Bomber.
One for Polish Bomber. Just keep tickers with their like faces on it. I think that he could be that guy for us. I mean, he looks like he's got it. I mean, he just looks the part too.
Yeah.
If you've seen him in interviews and you talk to him and you look at him and you're like, okay, that's the guy. That looks like the mold for something that could be for the future.
And I'm saying that first preseason game, he was making every throw, whether he's in the pocket, on the run. I mean, he was on point.
He looked sharp.
And I was
He's looked good in all
He was
three
like 13
games.
for 15 at one point. I was like, it's hard to sit him. You're right. But
We'll see what happens.
yeah.
Hopefully they can play the patient role and go through the motions and get him where he needs to be so that when he does make his debut, he's going to be amazing.
But definitely Green Bay all the way in the north there.
As hard as it
in the
for me
north
to say
there.
it.
In the north there.
As long
But
as
now
y'all
let's
agree
go-
Green Bay's the best team, we're all
up in the
happy.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's move on to NFC East.
All right, Mark. Well, you have an odd pick for this one for a spoiler team. I just want to get to that one right away.
Oh, you're talking about the Giants, what I've been talking about, or are you talking about the Philadelphia Eagles?
The Eagles.
Well, the Eagles, I believe that they could be that team that could take that next step. I think they're going to screw up the East. I think whatever plans you have in the East this year, I think they're going to be that one team that's going to constantly give everybody fits.
Yep.
Even if they don't win every game, they're going to make it real hard on you. Carson Wentz has got Alshon Jeffrey, and I know he's an ex-Bear, but he is amazing.
Player.
And it's going to make Wentz's job that much better, or that much easier, I should say.
I agree.
And don't get me wrong, Washington's the Cousins is gritty, but when it comes down to playing in the big games, he doesn't seem like he can get it done. And then I said this before, and I'll say it again. I believe that the Giants are going to make the Super Bowl this year. I think that you're going to ultimately, we'll get to it later, but see a rematch of Manning versus Brady, and we're going to see if Brady's got what it takes to finally take out Manning, or does Manning drink that super juice that seems to beat Manning every time? I don't know. We'll see
Super
what
Juice
happens.
tree back.
Super juice.
Yeah.
Super juice. He's drinking something, man. I mean, something. He's
Willie-
got
Willie
the potion.
Beeman.
He's got the potion
Like
to be
Willie
able to take
Beeman.
out Brady. And with Brandon Marshall and with a healthy Odell Beckham Jr., you'll see, man.
That's what he's drinking off camera.
Eli Manning, hit
lot
me
of
up, buddy. I'll get you that super juice.
Super juice.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion. I think the Giants are going to come out on top. I think everything else is going to be mixed up. I think you'll see two wild card teams come out of the East.
Who you got, Mike? You taking the Cowboys, ain't you?
Well, you said it's authority. Now I want to, but no, I was going to do Giants actually. Cowboys switched their whole defense pretty much. That's when it's really giving me pause. I know they switched two guys in their line, but it's still a great line.
Oh, yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott's going to miss a few games in the beginning. That's the tough part too.
I thought he got it overturned.
Well, maybe.
We'll
see.
I'm
Maybe
I heard that today.
Maybe.
I didn't-
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, good thing this
Well, I
is
know
live,
he
so I
was
can't
appealing
edit
it.
So,
I know he appealed it, so maybe you're right.
I mean, I don't know if it's 100%, but I'm just telling you.
Our investigative
wasn't-
reporter, Coach Pike, has helped us out.
It wasn't on TMZ or anything. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
you know what
okay.
I mean? So
Well, if he is back, that might be this 1 or 2 games extra they would need.
that would
'cause,
be huge.
with Prescott, I have a lot of confidence in him. So
I
the
do
two
too.
of them together with the line, that could be different something.
You
But
know, with Dez being a playmaker that he is, and that line, dude, that's just that's pretty good.
Well,
And then you got the
I mean-
ageless wonder Witten out there who just doesn't seem to stop. He
keeps
catching.
Catches a good 60 a year.
yeah, I think the offense is totally fine.
Yeah.
The defense, I'm not 100% sold on.
Get the swipe in there though. Jalen might be that wild card on defense. Jalen Smith.
Right.
You know,
Well, we'll
he's
see.
from the
He's
hometown. He's from
still
hometown, so
Okay.
I gotta give him some love. Even though he went to Notre Dame, but I honestly think the East is kind of like this. Like they're all
Even playing
pretty.
field.
Maybe it just depends. Like you said, they'll be up and down all year. Cousins.
I just think
who shows up.
I just think you're a lucky Eli Manning throw away from winning the division, and he's pretty much got one at least once a season.
Yeah, he gets hurt though, and they got to throw Geno in there. Look out, Jack. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's how look out. There's nothing to look out for. It'll
That's
be
what-
over.
That's
Look,
what I'm
it's
saying.
over.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyways,
Let's go to the AFC East, which has Mark's eventual Super Bowl participants.
it's just hard to beat Brady.
And I'm up with them number one on this division. Not much
It's
of a
hard
horse
to beat
race.
Brady. I mean, they just win the AFC East. I mean, the AFC East trophy should eventually just have the Patriots on it. Just engrave it in advance. Maybe save yourself some money or something, NFL.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Miami's got Jay Cutler, who don't hurt yourself too much there. But yeah, Tannehill got hurt for the season. He's out. Cutler wasn't really doing – I don't know if he's doing really workouts even during the offseason, but
No, he was working on how to put a microphone on like we
we
are.
still don't have that down, so I can't give him too much crap for that
It's
one.
gotta be
I'm gonna
hard.
tell you.
It's hard, Jay. It's not easy.
I'm just gonna say you might watch out for Miami. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Do you think they're a playoff potential team?
I absolutely think they are.
Like wild card, or do you think?
Game over, man. Jay
absolutely think
Cutler
they are.
is going to throw. Like, could probably break the record for most interceptions in a game, let alone a
They
season.
can protect him.
Well, do they play the Packers?
If they can protect him, I am telling you. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Man, you might be drinking the other type of juice.
Well, do you think Buffalo or the New York Jets are going to do anything?
No.
Negative.
Jets are dumpster
I see your
fire.
head
Nothing.
shake.
It's another situation like the North. There's going to be one team that comes out of this division, and the rest is garbage.
Yep. I agree.
Well, let's get the AFC West, who actually is a pretty good division.
They're a fun division. They're another one of the kind of like the NFC East. It's very even keel out there. You're not sure exactly who's going to come out of it. Denver's obviously fun because of their defense. The Raiders, man, they could be that team. They could be that team.
Ain't no could.
They could be that team, but I think they're going to run into the buzzsaw, which is the New England Patriots, and the Tuck rule's not going to work. Nothing's going to work. They're going to lose, and it sucks.
You just triggered thousands of Raiders fans.
Oh, I'm sure. I believe in Carr. I think Carr is great.
I'm a Raiders
Oh,
fan.
are you? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great, but I think with all this stuff of not knowing if they're going to Vegas, whether they're going to Vegas, I think there's some turmoil over there that people don't see behind the scenes.
Very good,
And they're
yeah.
not sure who their identity is. And are they Oakland? Are they LA? Are they Las Vegas? Do they know where they play? I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. They've got all the talent in the world. Mac is a beast, but he's only one dude.
Now we got the Chargers and Chiefs out there too.
Just win, baby.
Those are those guys. I mean, I think, again, this is another one of those divisions where I think you'll see someone obviously who's going to win it, and you're going to have two teams potentially coming out of there with wild cards.
Yeah, definitely. The Broncos and Raiders are definitely tops on that. And then the other two, it's a roll of the dice,
Yeah,
I
I go any of these four teams. I can tell you why they're going to win the division.
It's possible. They all have
Except for
opportunities.
Alex Smith, he doesn't really help my chart there.
Their defense is nasty.
The
Chiefs legit, man. They might get three out of that
The
division,
Chargers
honestly.
might be my AFC Philadelphia Eagles. With Rivers, you could never count him out.
Right.
He's always real gritty, real upset, and he's super competitive. He gets pissed off all the time.
The rest of his teams, I don't think they're where they should be. But
No.
the Chiefs, the thing about the Broncos is the quarterback play. I mean, it's 100%. You can rely on your defense only so much. Now, Peyton, obviously, but Peyton made some plays when he needed to. The other, who is it? The kid from Memphis and the kid from Northwestern. What's his name?
Simeon.
Trevor Simeon.
Yep.
Whatever. And then the other kid,
Lynch.
Peyton Lynch. Ooh,
I just don't think
rough
that's
to me still.
Yeah.
So
I am surprised that we haven't seen Elway make that move, whatever that signature move is.
Yeah.
You have the best defense around. You better do something because that won't last for long.
He's waiting for Andrew Luck to wait a few years and
Is that
join
what
the
it is?
team for 3 seasons. He's got the plan already down.
And I'm not sure who it would be, but I feel like there's got to be someone out there that's a better fit for the team than where they're currently at. I don't know why they're so fixated on grooming those two guys. I feel like they should go out there. I mean, I would have even been. I understand he comes with social baggage, but I think Colin Kaepernick would have been a good, situation for them.
Yeah.
Keep that ball, run it, become that team, control the ball, get that clock moving in your direction, and keep the defense off the field unless you don't have to have them out there.
Yeah, and then new scenery for him would have been nice, and definitely they have players there. I mean,
I think that's what's frustrating is that they
Demarius and all those
you
guys.
could insert a great quarterback into that situation, and that's like feels like it's the final piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, and he can run. I mean, that's really they never really had a running quarterback too with that, with Tebow. But
oh, here we go.
But what I'm saying is he gets out of trouble and makes plays. They never really had that, So
Let's move on to the South, the NFC South, right?
How about the NFC West?
Oh, I forgot the West. You're right. Sorry, the NFC West. We
Well,
got
I
the
think
LA
this-
Rams.
Yeah, let's give the division to them. Well, apparently quarterback plays doing all right with the wide receivers, but they're not doing anything this year, even without Jeff Fisher. Arizona looks good. I don't think they're going to be great. They might knock on for a wild card, but
Well,
it's
it
still
comes down to
Seattle.
Palmer. Can Palmer stay healthy? Because if he can, then he's elite.
It's those two.
There's a lot of pieces of that
AZ
team, though.
and Seattle. I mean, that's only two. I mean, let's keep it real.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the other team. That's how
Yeah, it's not even worth it.
Coach Fike has spoken. Yeah, I think Seattle for all of us. Let's go to the NFC South.
Yeah, NFC South. I mean, as far as that goes, obviously you got Atlanta. They're going to want to come back after that Super Bowl. Are they going to have a Super Bowl hangover? We'll see. I don't know. I'm real excited about the Tennessee Titans. I think that they're a young and upcoming team, and Mariota, if he can stay healthy, man, he's fun to watch.
Yes, yes.
He seems to have a great command of that offense. He's an athlete that can actually not only move the ball with his arm, but he can do it with his legs. And he seems to have a strong command of that offense, and he seems to be someone that people like to play for.
Yeah, they got some good tools down there for sure to play with.
Well, everyone down there seems to have a good quarterback. You got Cam Newton, you got Drew Brees. Everyone there pretty much. You got some firepower. So defenses are used to it.
And we didn't even talk about that. You know, Cam Newton, is he going to have a bounce-back season finally? If they're going to get where they think they should be? I don't know. We'll see. And then, you know, the experiment down in New Orleans. Adrian Peterson, we really haven't talked about it a lot. I'm interested to see how that's going to pan out. It's fun to watch two all-time great players get together, especially at those two particular positions. You know, because I don't know if Drew Brees has had a good, strong running game over the years. He's been pretty lucky in that regard. But a superstar who's going to take, you know, all the defensive eyes are going to be on that.
And with Sean Payton calling the plays too, it's, you know, get a little bit more. You know,
this
more
feels like when Karl Malone went to the Lakers. You know, like you were great.
It's funny that you should bring that up because I was literally thinking the same thing. Because that team, when they put Gary Payton, Karl Malone with Shaq and Kobe, you were like they're going to win it all, and they got to the promised land, but they couldn't finish the job.
Right.
And I don't know, are they going to have that kind of a result, or are they going to have, you know, a winning result? I guess we'll see. Drew Brees, I mean, he's remarkable. What he's been able to accomplish. We've lived in the past 10 years. Last 10 years we've seen it's been a quarterback league, and we've seen some of the best quarterbacks of all time in that 10 years.
And I think Cam with the McCaffrey kid getting in there too. I think he's going to be a little spark plug for them. I think
Absolutely.
He's definitely he can play anywhere. So it's a great pick.
Cam Newton's a great athlete. I just think that if he's mentally in it, physically he's already there.
Yeah.
Is he mentally ready to rock and roll? Is he done playing games with the media? Is he actually about playing football instead of worrying about the celebration of a touchdown?
Right. I think he's focused, and he wants to run as much.
Yeah.
So
who would?
Yeah, well, he's 6'6", 280 or whatever he is, boy.
Every time he runs, you know his coach is going, "Oh God, this
I know,
slide.
right?
Just come on." Man.
Absolutely. But that's why I think the McCaffrey kid will be, you know, a wild card for them.
So who do you guys have for the division?
I'm going with the Saints, man.
Saints.
I like it.
Yep, I'm going with the Saints. I got to roll with Drew, man. You know, he's from Purdue. You know, my brotherhood there. So
if you're from Purdue, Pike's got your back.
That's right. As far as this division goes, it's hard for me. I'm not sure because there is some talent here, and you're not sure which direction it's going to head in. But it's hard for me not to bet against Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think Matt Ryan's going to come back angry. I think he's going to do his thing, and he's going to, you know, I think you'll see New Orleans in the playoffs. But I don't think I don't know if they're not going to win the division.
We got Mike.
I got the ones we're talking about. Carolina. I think they're going to do the bounce back. I think that they had a real bad hangover, man.
Yes.
That is a tough way to lose, and a lot of times teams lose that kind of way, like in hockey. If you lose when you're up 3-up, you lose the next 4 games, you don't really come back next season when the Stanley Cup too often. Usually it takes a whole season to get over it.
Agreed.
And then Newton, I just can't bet against him. The guy broke his back in a car accident and he was in the playoffs. You're like, what are you going to do against that guy?
Right.
6'6", 275 pounds of
I mean,
muscle.
He is a former MVP.
Superman.
I mean, he can. Yeah, and actually he proves that on a regular basis. I mean, how often do you see a quarterback jump over like Walter Payton to get the rushing touchdown?
Definitely a freak.
All right, well, one last one, AFC South. Jacksonville obviously is the one we're all going for.
Jacksonville. They should call up Tim Tebow out there.
Stop it.
They would be sold out.
They would sell out. They would sell out. People would love it. They would gravitate towards it. But whatever.
He's swinging that wood right now, man.
He's been pretty good, actually, for a guy who hasn't played.
He really is.
I'm having a real rough time with that situation.
It's like a Michael Jordan all over again.
Well, to me, I'm not even like that.
I think he's a little bit better, Jordan.
It's kind of like the situation. He is, but it's kind of like the situation.
Offense, Mike.
No. We
He
love
watches.
You. We love you. Of course he does.
It's his favorite
But
show.
I'm real big on, like, you know what, we talked about Johnny Manziel. I'd like to see him play somewhere. I want to see Tim Tebow play somewhere. That's the only reason why I bring it up. I just still feel like we're being robbed of a really great football player, and we're not in an opportunity to see him make magic. I'd like to see him go to the CFL and make something happen. Yeah. It's another story for another
winner,
time.
Man.
Yes.
That's one thing you cannot. He's got that winning thing to him.
That 500 winning percentage kind of stuff in the NFL, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
He played for the Broncos. You know I don't like him. I'm a Raider fan.
That's one of his best plays, though, was that overtime game. I think people all forget, other than the 5 yards right in people's knees.
Well, I mean, considering Gatorade originated from Florida and the Gators, I mean, I've never seen anybody get more haterade than Tim Tebow.
Oh, God. We're moving on. All right. So we got Tennessee, Houston, and Indianapolis in this division.
I'm going with the Titans.
Titans, I'm with you on this one.
I think they're putting some tools around Marcus Mariota. He's definitely progressing as a quarterback in the NFL and doing his thing. And they're still letting him do a little bit of the Oregon stuff, just a touch. And the running backs there are nice, man. God, Henry's a stud. So I got to roll with the Titans, and the defense is nice. So it's a good team there.
And you got the Titans as well?
Yeah, I got the Titans. I think the Colts. You don't know about Luck's injury. What's that gonna be like? How long? And he's gonna be 100% when he does get back.
Right.
And then Houston's the only other one, and I think they're pretty close.
That's who I'm picking. Deshaun Watson, I think, is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, scenario.
Like the Dak.
Yes, he's going to be like Dak Prescott this year, I think, for them. I think they've struck lightning in a bottle with him. I think it's going to be – he's that missing piece that they've been looking for.
Yeah, but they don't quite have Dallas's line there. That's probably
the line is everything.
Oh, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but their defense is unbelievable.
Oh, 100%.
And it's so hard to, bet against that defense. And defense wins games. And if Deshaun Watson could just be half the kind of player that we think he can be, that's all Houston needs.
Make good decisions. Don't turn the ball over, and all those things that Dak didn't.
And he's not afraid. He's not afraid to make plays.
No, he's not.
He's not. I mean,
and he's got the tools too. I mean, he can sling it, man. Now, but I just don't see anybody beating the Titans in that division.
We'll see what happens. I think Houston's going to win again, and we'll see. But I think Titans make the playoffs.
Yeah. Has Houston won the division?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately,
they won it last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
That
That's
was the
how
first
they got
time,
in,
right?
No, they've been winning. I think I don't know. We'll double check on that.
That was Indianapolis for
it was always
90 years straight.
It was something.
I think
like
it might be one or the other. I think is what's been happening.
The Colts will get in and just bow out in the first round. So I was like,
Colts
something
win.
needed to change there.
Houston's been no better. Houston's been. They get in the first round and then they get smoked. I mean, because they can't compete. Because they don't have anybody to throw the ball at all.
All right, we've heard your Super Bowl picks, Mark. What about yours, Coach Pike? You're now on the hot seat.
Both sides. Oh, it's Raiders all day, baby.
Raiders versus the Raiders. You heard that here first.
Raiders.
Do you really think they can get in?
I do. And I am a Raider fan, but I just think last year they had the team. They really did. And then with Derek breaking his leg and just a crucial time.
He's a lot of fun to watch, too.
And on the other side, gosh, Atlanta, hopefully they have a hangover. They're good. It's hard telling, man. Maybe Pitt?
No.
That would be
Raiders Pitt?
No.
That'd be an all-time classic.
I think that's who's going to be in the division.
Oh,
I think
the AFC Championship?
Yeah, because the Raiders will beat New England, and then they'll play in Pitt. Other side, it's hard telling. It really is. I mean, it's such a role. I mean, honestly, I felt like Atlanta was a wild card last year getting there. So
yeah, the NFC doesn't really have the strong teams. Yeah.
Who?
Green Bay.
Oh man, I
Bay,
can't even
Oakland?
handle him on this show today.
I'm not against that one just because it's a great pick. But otherwise, there's not a lot of great NFC teams.
There really isn't.
Seattle's got a bunch of holes. Green Bay's got a bunch of holes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to matter ultimately. It won't even matter with the regular season for the NFC. It's going to matter who's going to be ready, who's amping it up for the playoffs, who's on that turnaround, who's on that verge of like, oh yeah, I'm getting hot now. Not like I was good all regular season and now we're dropping off in the playoffs. That's what I feel like a majority of the NFC is going to be like. Whoever's winning the regular season in the NFC will not be there at the end.
Truthfully, I have a Packer family. I'm from Wisconsin.
Oh,
My
okay.
family's from Wisconsin.
I knew there's something good about
my
you.
My father and my mother were Packer fans, but they really their offense, dude. Like Rodgers with Jordy and all those.
With Martellus Bennett should be a huge addition because they've had to
huge.
An ex-Bear.
It depends on how their defense plays.
Mm-hmm.
He said an ex-Bear.
If Clay Matthews go back to his defensive player of the year, that'd be one thing. But
absolutely.
Did he cut his hair?
I did not see him this morning. I will ask him next time.
Yeah, if he cut his hair, maybe he can get back to playing with. Well, I don't know. I've already said my piece on this. The Giants, I think, are going to be the ones that show up and do what they need to do. I mean, they've got the pedigree of being multiple championship winners.
Giants, New England.
They've been there. I think it's going to be those guys duking it out again as the epic Super Bowl. But if I had to go with my tier 2 teams, it would be Pittsburgh on the AFC side of things. NFC, man, it's like you said, it's really rough to pick someone and just ride their coattails. And I'm actually going to go with your guy from Purdue. Maybe it'll be my second guy will be New Orleans.
Okay.
It
Really?
could be, maybe. If I
card pick.
Since I picked my teams like a month or two ago, and I said New England and Giants, I figured I'll go with my secondary.
Well, you're not
teams
getting credit for it
this
anymore. See, this one is locked down now.
I don't mind.
It has been changed officially.
I don't even care. I don't even care.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, now that we've gotten the NFL out of the way, I want to make a quick announcement as my father is in the hospital today and he had surgery, and he's been watching the show. I love you, Pop. Thanks for watching. Hi, Mom. We appreciate you guys and hope for a speedy recovery.
Yeah, look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Yeah. Prayers down to Houston, Texas, down to the Texas people.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
I have family that just actually was up here this weekend from Texas, so they missed a lot of all that storm and whatnot. But the things that are happening down there for those people, you really see in the human spirit of like every walk of life helping each other out. And, you know, that shouldn't just be during disasters, folks. It should be all the time.
Agreed.
Yeah, see the big civilian hand helping people out with like basically called private Navy, the Cajun Navy, bunch of guys with their own boats helping people who are trapped, stuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stories and a lot of terrible stories that are coming out of Houston right now. But, you know, my prayers and thoughts are with everyone down there. And hopefully we can get that fixed up pretty quickly. We've been through crazy stuff before as a country, and hopefully we can rally around this and get those people where they need to be.
Yep.
All right, well, on that happy note, it is a happiness for tomorrow. Sorry about that.
Well, we're excited. We got a great show coming up on September 15th at the Sports Ball at the Marriott. There's going to be tons of athletes there. It's being held on by Bright Star Care. We're excited to have, do that show on location. And hopefully that you can come out and be there with us as well. And Dominique, we invited you to come out. We're going to continue to bring out more athletes and talk to people about that special event.
All right, I think that's all from us here today at Iowa Football 365. Thank you very much, Coach Page, for coming out.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it as always.
Brother.
My man.
Anytime.
Dominique Collins and Marcus Robinson, thank you very much. And guys, have a great night. We'll see you next time on Iowa Football 365, covering pro football around the world.
Adios.